Now, I think for our big news today, I would actually like to call up to the table Mayor Josh Garcia and Receiver Superintendent Anthony Soto from Holyoke as we prepare and share with you our final announcement, which is that we are announcing today the provisional release of Holyoke from chronically underperforming status, effective once we get through a provisional process, which means continuing on with the work that the mayor and the receiver superintendent have been leading in order to make sure that we have those conditions in place for continued improvement post-receivership. And I want to be very clear on this. We are very proud of the work that has been done in Holyoke, and you'll hear more about that from our esteemed colleagues who are here to share more information. But this 10-year journey of receivership in Holyoke has really been about, what is our focus on the students? What has it meant for the students of Holyoke? And so from pre-K through grade 12 in Holyoke, the students now benefit from a greatly expanded range of opportunities in the Holyoke Public Schools, thanks to the investments made during this decade of receivership. And then you'll hear more about some of those investments, some of those outcomes. I don't want to steal their thunder. They've done the work, and we're really pleased to hear from the mayor and from the receiver superintendent about that. But I'm also pleased to announce, and we'd sort of given board members a preview of this, that we'll have our next meeting in Holyoke. I think this is just a preview today. I've asked the mayor and the receiver superintendent just to speak a little bit extemporaneously about what this decision means, but the real work continues. And I know their commitment to the real work, and that the real work goes way beyond an announcement. And so I think it'll be very important for us to go to Holyoke and listen more and tune in further to what the mayor can provide us about an update of the work that the school committee has deeply invested in the way of the governance that is necessary for continual improvement, and also for the receiver superintendent to explain more about those improvement efforts from within the district. And I'm really pleased that Receiver Superintendent Anthony Soto has led the process in a community-driven development of a strategic improvement plan. It's really been a core of how this can happen, is that the strategic improvement plan aligns to the turnaround plan for the district. But if you ask the superintendent to talk about what matters most right now, he can talk to you about those priorities that are in the strategic improvement plan that were developed by the community as a whole. And I'm really pleased that as we pull away from having a turnaround plan, that the strategic plan that will be updated will be that pathway forward for the district. And it's already been that guiding light, and it will continue to be the guiding light post-receivership. We will use this opportunity to think about which aspects of the turnaround plan will we keep in place post-receivership. So you'll hear more about that from us in November, and it will be a work in progress during this provisional period, leading us up to the end of June, right? Because what we're planning right now, and everything is moving towards this outcome, is that this is a provisional period that would end on July 1st. That on July 1st, receivership would officially end at that point. And so we're announcing this provisional release today with our complete aim on that July 1 date, and we've just so appreciated the work that's been done to get there. I want to continue, though, just to quickly give a shout out to the Holyoke School Committee and their work around governance. Since I took over as acting commissioner, we began meetings. We've had 7 meetings in total from April through August to work together with a subcommittee that the school committee created called a local control task force, a local control subcommittee. And we met in open session on 7 occasions between April and August. And that subcommittee created a transition plan for itself. Think about the roles of a school committee: hiring the superintendent, evaluating the superintendent, budget, policy, these critical functions that a school committee provides. This plan helps to bridge that gap between the knowledge and investment in learning that they've created for themselves, the trainings that they've invested in, and now putting that into action during this transitional period. And so things like what is their involvement in labor relations? What is their involvement in the budget and budget development for the new school year? How are they working with the superintendent? How are they representing the community? These are all laid out in the transition plan. They're very specific. And I think it's important, the mayor and I have talked about this, it's a living document. We don't hit everything exactly as it's laid out in the plan. There's some adjustments that have already been made along the way, but we're moving with all great effort towards full implementation of that transition plan for the school committees so that they are solidly in place for governance when this provisional period ends. So again, so pleased with the progress that's been made in terms of the opportunities that are provided for students, in terms of leadership and governance. It gives me great hope for the future for Holyoke. And now let's stop hearing from me and hear from the people who are really doing the work. Mayor Garcia, I'm just so pleased to turn it over to you at this very happy moment.
Well, buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Josh Garcia. Soy el alcalde de la ciudad de Holyoke y estoy muy orgulloso para estar aquí hoy en este momento en la historia de Massachusetts. I'm Joshua Garcia, mayor of the city of Holyoke, and I am incredibly proud to be here at this moment in the history of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I'll explain. I was born and raised in the city of Holyoke. I'm a product of the city's environment, went to the Holyoke public school system. I was on the school board serving with my former colleague, Mike Maiardi, serving a term just prior to our district going into receivership. And the last decade, I gotta say, our community has been doing a lot of soul searching, certainly going into receivership. And I'm talking on the governing community level, and Anthony can deep into the weeds of practical internal within the district as far as outcomes are concerned. We were not all on the same page. And within this last decade, I have to say, for as long as I've been involved in my community, and Mike Maiardi can attest to it, we've have been doing a lot of reconciliation of conflicts and trying to understand the strategic direction we need to go as far as the district is concerned. And within that process, I'm happy to say, you know, the school board have consistently met every single month, every year since being in receivership, collaboratively with former receivers and our current receiver. And we do so to this day. And, you know, I think there were some lessons learned in this journey that I'm sure we can talk about and figure out how together we can pivot and try to be better when it comes to helping districts. But also I can tell you that I'm appreciative of the work that has been able to get accomplished under receivership between my community and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And to get to this point now, you know, a lot of us in the city, we're feeling we feel very ready to move forward. I know that although this is welcoming news, we certainly do not take it at all very lightly. We understand that there's still so much more work to do. The committee continues to remain very committed to do what we need to do to prepare for this transition of power. We have a lot of folks on our board who weren't around when we were under local control, and we acknowledge that, and we've put together a capacity building plan with clear benchmarks and what it is that we need to do to be ready for July 1 to hit the ground running. I do want to thank Commissioner Johnson and his team, Secretary Tutwiler, and the governor, our governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, who have been extremely helpful and supportive to my community in trying to understand what it is that we need to do together so that we can achieve our shared goal, our shared desire of what's best for our kids. So thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Secretary. Thank you to this board who have been actively involved, and any board members that might have been around when we first went into receivership prior to you for your support. And then also I obviously want to give a shout out to each of my elected school board members, both former and present, who have been extremely patient through this process and continue to remain committed so that we can be sure that we're ready on day 1 of July to hit the ground running, practice local control, and do what's best for our kids together for our children. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony Soto. First and foremost, I'm a very proud Puerto Rican from Holyoke, born and raised, and grew up in Holyoke, and has contributed to the man that I am today, the husband that I am today, the father that I am today, and the professional that I am today. And I say that just to really personalize my gratitude to all the work that we've accomplished over the last 9 years. It's really personal to me. Not only the financial investment that the board has provided to Holyoke, but the support under Russell's leadership and Lauren and his team. I'm so grateful for that investment, and definitely want to give thanks to the mayor and the school committee for their unwavering commitment to our students. You know, when Receivership first came in, they didn't go away. They stayed committed, stayed involved, met regularly, really deeply listened to the community and what the challenges were, and made sure that they were available and pushing what was best for our students. And I know I speak for everyone in Holyoke that this announcement today is really a testament that reflects the hard work of all of our teachers in Holyoke, our staff, our leaders, the school committee, the families, and everybody in the entire community. I am really proud of all that we've accomplished. And in November, I'm excited to host you guys in Holyoke and to share more about what those accomplishments are, but I'll share just a few of them. We've definitely strengthened the educational experience for our kids. You know, we have high quality curriculum in place that's standards aligned. We've been able to put our leaders through leadership development to make sure that they're focused on instruction and focused on student outcomes, and that they're focused on improving the quality of teaching in our classroom, and have coaches to help support that work. We now have data, not just at the district level, but at the school level. Principals have real-time data that they can use to inform their professional learning, to inform what their teachers' planning looks like for the next week. Those were all things that, that structures that were put in place to really improve the quality of what our students experience in Holyoke. During the receivership time, we've been able to increase our graduation rate by 14 points, and even more so for some of our most vulnerable students. We've increased access to pre-K and other programming like early college opportunities and dual language, which is a very popular program in Holyoke that is supporting many of our existing students in the community and some of our newcomers that are coming to Holyoke from wherever they're coming. And, we made a commitment to increase the diversity of our staff, and we've been able to almost triple the amount of teachers of color that we have in Holyoke. And I can't express enough the investments that we've made in Holyoke in infrastructure. When I first got to Holyoke, our schools were beaten down, broken down, and completely neglected in terms of infrastructure. And through your support, the support of the MSBA, the support of our city council, we've made a significant amount of investments in the schools that we have today, over $100 million. And I say all this to, I know there's still so much more work to do. We still need to get better outcomes, but I feel really proud of the work that we've done over the last 9 years and the foundation that we've helped create to improve the conditions of learning and improve the outcomes for our kids. And I want to name that I'm committed to continuing to work with DESE, continuing to work with our school committee and our mayor to make sure that this is a successful transition back to local control. I'm very confident in the mayor's leadership and our school committee that, we can pass the torch and they can take it to the next level and ensure that, students are at the center of all the decisions that we make, and that a focus on student outcomes is at the forefront. So really appreciative, and that's what I wanted to come out here today and say, and just thank you for all the work that we've done over the last 9 years.
Thank you. And thanks for coming out. We look forward to being in Holyoke next month. Any other comments or questions? So, Farzana, did you have oh no.
I have to squeeze it into.
Maybe there's somebody else on that.
Fine.
She's on mute, so. Sorry. Thank you very much. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Thank you, Mayor.
Madam Chair. I was just going to add that, you know, on this conversation around academic outcomes, I know I hear a lot about whether receivership worked or didn't work, and I can point to things that did work that I think we should be very grateful for, and I look forward to continue to stay the course and the path. When I look at the districts that are currently in receivership and understand the quality of life challenges that are going on in those communities, the disparities, different social determinants of health factors that are involved in these communities, just being able to manage basic services. I think there's a different, higher level conversation in this ongoing journey, this practice that we need to have around how we support those gateway cities that have those particular disparity challenges when it comes to things that kids are going to school just from what's happening in their neighborhoods. Really, I think rather than going into the schools and having our educators solve neighborhood issues, I think there's some collaborative partnerships that we can probably create through the Commonwealth with those cities and towns and trying to improve, community level impact, whether if it's around housing or health and other social determinant factors that our children are going to school with. So I think there's some opportunity there for conversation as we try to continue to perfect our systems and processes and being better with helping those communities improve outcomes.
Thank you. Yes, Vice Chair.
I just wanted to say one thing to that. First of all, I'm very happy for you and the city and the families. But on that last point, as I think of the comments that the commissioner has made over the last number of months about the districts in receivership, please don't underestimate the impact that political leadership and educational leadership has had on Russell's decision-making on this. So yes, communities face challenges. You all have done, as I understand it, an excellent job in embracing the moment and being willing to sort of work in a very cooperative way and get to the point where you're ready to take on the challenge. And political and educational leadership matters a lot in these decisions. So.
Well, and I'd be remiss if I didn't give Anthony a particular shout out because you've been with us for many, many years on this topic. So we really appreciate your work. For Brock. Any other comments? If not, we'll see you in your hometown next month. And yours too, Member Moriarty.
Yeah, I'm going to save my comments until I'm in front of my town.
Thank you.